Two losses to the start of the Man United season. It's fair to say that Jose Mourinho hasn't had the best start. He's having an ongoing problem with Pogba and Woodward. But one thing that hasn't really faltered is his relationship with the Man United fans, certainly from an outside perspective.
Well,
I'm joined by Sam Peoples, everybody. Come on!
There we go. Fire content.
Go on.
Jose Mourinho, as far as the press is concerned, there's been a massive rift between Mourinho and the fans.
Yeah.
And if you look at Mourinho when he came in, he didn't have 100% of the fans on his side at the very start.
What was that about?
That's just to do with the traditions of Manchester United as a football club that we've seen with Fergie and what he had built, and the stylistic differences with Mourinho.
Were they bored with kind of Van Gaal and Moyes being pragmatic but successful? Are they or they wanted that flair?
No, it was just that they knew. United fans were well aware of what came with Mourinho when he came into a club. He did bring success, but he also brought chaos in part as well.
Yeah.
And so he didn't always have 100% of the fans on his side. And what we've seen at the start of this season, we've lost obviously one against Leicester, then we lost to Brighton, lost 2 times in a row there away, and now we lost to Spurs. And it was 2 really poor performances. And the press lynched him. The press got on his back. And at that point, Mourinho knew what he was doing. It's weird. You either look at it as a calculated move by Mourinho to try and get the fans on his side, or whether he really just wants the fans on his side.
I mean, if you look at what he's done, his behaviour over the last 2 weeks hasn't been like anything else we've seen at Man United. He has previous with Real Madrid and their supporters, their ultra section especially. But last Friday he was at the under-23s game, Man United under-23s, mingling with the fans after the defeat against Tottenham 3-0 at home. He was saluting the Stretford end for those that stayed behind. And then after the Burnley game, the 2-0 win, he was in with the away fans. This isn't normal behaviour for a manager. It seems like it's purposeful. It seems like he's doing it for some reason. Maybe to gain allies in a club that he doesn't have that many left.
Look, the fans have really responded to the actions that Jose Mourinho has done in the last couple of weeks. What we've seen in a couple of his press conferences, him demanding respect, and that being a dick in press conferences is what I know of Jose Mourinho. Belittling people, speaking above people, condescending other people. It's just the way he approaches the media, because the media approaches Mourinho in the exact same way. They condescend him, they patronise him, they point the finger at Mourinho. So it's a hate-hate relationship between Mourinho. That's why he acts like that. But in terms of how he acted in front of the Stretford end, that was genuine. The fans were still singing his name at the end of a 3-0, the worst home defeat ever under Mourinho.
Is anything he does genuine, though? There always seems to be some sort of...
You can be cynical if you want to look at it like that, but United fans are not looking at this cynically. We're seeing a manager who we can get behind. We've had Fergie, and after that, United fans, we all did feel a privilege because we just had the best manager that will ever exist in the Premier League, and we had years of sustained success, and we had just won the Premier League. We were champions at that point. Then we've gone through Moyes and Van Gaal, and it's made United fans rethink about being privileged and what success is. And now with Mourinho, we reached a point where, he won the Europa League and the League Cup in his first year, first manager to do so. Finished second behind City in the second year. Worst signs of progress. But yes, you could see those elements that United fans didn't all agree with at the start, the pragmatic style at points, parking the bus on occasions, but on other occasions, say at Liverpool away a couple of years, we haven't done that well. We've always sat very, very deep, whereas United fans want United to attack. But at this point now, after the Spurs going into the Burnley game, United fans had 2 choices, really. We could have pointed the finger at Mourinho, or we could have stood behind Mourinho, which is what you saw in the away end. Apparently it was one of the best away ends in years.
Singing throughout.
And right at the end, Mourinho went and he thanked the fans for that. And it's really created that siege mentality again at United, that everyone against us against the world mentality.
Yeah.
That was what Fergie did. That was one of Fergie's best assets as a manager, and all United fans united behind him. And right now, United is...
But he was winning titles though.
I know, but look at what City are doing. Look at what Liverpool are doing. They're 2 right now much better run clubs than Manchester United. And the reason that United fans... I hope that the reason United fans are doing this is because they've realised that Mourinho's not the problem. Ed Woodward isn't the problem. The problem is the Glazers. If Ed Woodward was to go, somebody else would come in and be a yes man for them. It's the miscommunication between the board and the manager, and that's created a massive disconnect. But the fans have now chosen to stand behind Mourinho.
Certainly the away fans are, and I think that away fans are a good barometer of or at least the shining example of what a supporter should be. And I get there are a lot of people that can't get to the game, they're from overseas or whatever it might be. But away fans seem to be the most patient, the most supportive, and will get behind a manager in times of need. But they're perhaps not a barometer of the way Man United fans think generally. So what is the mood at United, based on what you've read on Twitter and what you can see, because you run your United channel, don't you? So
yeah, but you're going to see completely different opinions whether you look on Twitter or whether you speak to match-going fans.
All right, I've got another question then. Are people more... do you feel the feeling is that most people want him at the club or not?
I would say probably, I'd say 65-35.
In favour of Mourinho?
In favour of Mourinho. I still stand behind that. I'm firmly still pro-Mourinho. I think he is the manager that can take us forward, because I just don't see how, right now at United, doing another managerial change that gets rid of a lot of the squad, because as soon as Mourinho's, whether it's Zinedine Zidane or any other person comes in after Mourinho, they're going to want to do exactly what Moyes, Van Gaal and Mourinho did, and sell players and bring in players for their squad. And a couple of years down the line, United fans are going to go, oh look, Zidane, he's lost 2 games in a row, or whoever it is. The problems at United are not going to be solved by sacking a manager 2 years down the line. It doesn't work, and repeating that cycle. We've got to make sure we try and stand behind the manager. The club did. The club gave Mourinho a contract extension in January. That's why the confusion exists in United fans, because the club backed him and then decided in the summer to backtrack on that. Because yes, he did spend big. He spent over 300 million. We did buy Fred and a lot, but he wanted a new centre back. And the club said no. And they undermined the manager. They made his position difficult.
But he can't get what he wants.
Mourinho does.
Yeah, but Mourinho does. Or throws his prams out.
And then he leaves the club.
Yeah.
But if he stays at the club, he wins you trophies, and that's exactly why Ed Woodward and the club have brought him in. So stick with it.
Any way win is good in the Premier League. Burnley, however, are kind of getting tonked everywhere. Was this an important win in kind of for something that Mourinho can build upon, or was it papering over the cracks? Are there still massive issues at Man United, or is it all feels like, from what you're saying, and I read a good article by Andy Mitten, and it was very positive about Mourinho. Were those 2 losses a kind of flash in the pan defeats and something to forget, or are Man United, are they a wholesome, forward-thinking and forward-moving football club?
Clearly, we've still got problems because the Paul Pogba situation. The guy has won the World Cup with France, scored the World Cup final, not working under Mourinho at United. Every single game was sensational. In the first game against Leicester, not so much against Brighton and Spurs.
Has he been played in a different position?
He got played on the right central midfield against Spurs. I think he was really isolated because Luke Shaw's had such a good season with attacking down the left a lot. So we're not getting a lot of movement down the right. I don't think still that Pogba is being used correctly by Mourinho. But if you're asking what this Burnley result means, it was the response we saw from Mourinho, the response we saw from the players, and the response we saw from the fans that makes it such an important victory for United. And we go into Watford away next. Obviously, they beat you.
Very good side.
United are a good team. 4 wins out of 4.
Surprisingly good. Like, not just good technically. They have some great players, Pereira and Doucouré in midfield especially. They're huge. They're like, Spurs don't get bullied. We've got a big side in ourselves. Dyer, Dembele, Sanchez. Sanchez was just thrown around like nothing. Troy Deeney just smashed into pieces. Success they've got up front. They're just, all of them are units, and they can play football. They're going to be a good side this year. And
sounds very much like a Mourinho side.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting test. It'd be an interesting test for United because they more than deserved their win, especially in that second.
As far as the press and fans of other clubs are going to be concerned, the win against Burnley is you're beating a team who's just gone somewhere in the Europa League on Thursday. Yeah. They're having a terrible start to the season. It means nothing. But for United fans, we've now pushed aside the losses against Brighton and Spurs. It was a very comfortable 2-0 win. It should have been 5 or 6, but honestly we missed a bucket load of chances. Now Watford's a real test. If we can build on that, we can step it forwards. If we stagger again, then the questions are going to be asked again. But it doesn't mean that support is immediately going to turn and point at Mourinho, because if they were going to do that, they would have done it for the Burnley game. So
what's the future for Mourinho now, do you feel? What's the expectation from the fans? What do they want from him? What do you want from Mourinho?
The expectation from United fans this season has always been challenge for the Premier League, challenge City.
In a different way than you challenged last year?
We didn't challenge, we were 20 points off them. That wasn't challenging. United faltered, and especially in Europe, and that was the thing that confused me most last year about Mourinho. And it's the one game where a lot of United fans will point towards was Sevilla. Home and away, drew away, I think it was 0-0. It was an awful game. I think we had a one shot on target or so. And then we got dismantled by them at Old Trafford. And this is Mourinho, as far as I'm considered, one of the best managers ever in the Champions League. And knowing what to do over a 2-leg European tie. And the veil slipped in that regard.
So a second place finish with pushing City would be enough to.
Yeah, but I'm not
from your perspective.
Yeah, but we finished second last year. I'm talking.
No, I'm like 5 points. Like, if it's 5 points at the end of the season,
we just need to be competitive with City all season long. And that's it. That's all United fans want. And obviously, United fans want the Premier League or the Champions League. They're the titles that have eluded us since Fergie went. And the longer it goes on without us winning either of those, the more the comparisons with Liverpool are going to come.
The problem with United that they've got is it's really unfortunate in a way that you've got Man City, who are incredible, and so they should be, all the money they've spent, and then you've got Liverpool, your other arch rivals, who are flying as well. And the likelihood, I think, from a neutral's perspective, and as much as I can be, that Liverpool, Man City challenge for the league and Man United don't. And in that instance, I don't think Mourinho can keep his job unless there is a groundswell of optimism and everyone wants to keep him. Because I don't think the United board sack him if he finishes in the top 4. That's not an issue for them.
No, because that's all they care about. Right?
So that's what I think that Mourinho is actually doing. He's a bit of genius again. He's that, look, the only way I'm going from this football club, if I can maintain a civil relationship with Woodward and the Glazers and not go too far rogue and actually maintain a good, positive relationship with the fans, the third place finish keeps him in his job this year. Which isn't a bad thing. You know, sometimes stability is a good thing in the unknown of another manager. And Zidane ain't doing more than Mourinho is for that team, I don't think.
Like, well, they've seen what's happened. He's obviously won, was it 3 Champions Leagues in a row? 4
yeah, but with what?
With Bale, with Ronaldo, with everything. United do have a top-class squad. There's no getting around that.
But they don't have Ramos and Varane.
I know that, but this United...
And that's the issue. You've got Smalling and Lindelof.
I know. Chris Smalling is still playing for us, and Phil Jones.
But it's not... I'm not saying that they're bad footballers. They're not Real Madrid level. Zidane didn't have to do it. He himself, Zidane, said, I don't really do the tactics, really. I'm not a tactical, I'm a man manager, a man motivator.
Yeah.
Because he knows the quality in that side.
Look,
Zidane
I don't think Zidane comes in and all of a sudden Man United are going toe-to-toe with City at the top of the league. The problems that we've had, as I said, are systemic. They're not with the manager at the top of the club. There are a lot of issues that will always still exist until the Glazers leave, and they will never leave because Man United somehow, now their share price is higher than it's ever been.
Yeah.
We've had 5 years since Fergie's gone.
Good management, financial management.
Yeah, and that's what Ed Woodward does. He's brilliant at his job as a commercial man. Shouldn't be leading anything to do with the football. But back to Mourinho, in terms of would he keep his job? He will keep his job, but it's after that 3-year period. That's his initial contract.
Yeah.
It's after that 3-year period where you should be going, is it working?
Yeah, and he can use that contract negotiation to levy his position with the transfer budget. You know, so I'll sign if you guarantee me 200 million in the next window.
I know, but he's already signed that contract extension. He's now manager until 2020, so he's already got the 3-year.
Right.
He's had an initial 3-year contract, and he signed another 3-year contract extension in January. So he's here as far as a contract
about Mourinho.
What?
I'll tell you something about him.
Go on in.
When Barcelona and Pep Guardiola were dominant, he was the man to pick them to league with Real Madrid. So why not? Why not again? You tell me that. Why not? Hey? And I'll tell you something out there. You think this is free, or this gold right now? What I want you to... is this on me? Yeah. All right, fucking right. I want you to hit that bastard subscribe button. Because you think we're mucking about here. We ain't mucking about. All right?
We're not winning.
If you don't do it, we disappear. And God knows what. Where will I be then? I've got a pretty face. I can make a living. But I quite like talking about football.
I'm not sure... I'm not sure people like you that much.
I could feed myself with my face.
Yeah, you can feed yourself. Beans.
That's it. Ball Street is back every single day of the week. Soon we're bringing weekend content as well. If you like what you're doing, you've got something from this video, please hit subscribe. Let us know what you think of Sam's face in the comments below. Because what I like about this sort of stuff, right, is when someone comes on the channel and they go down to the comment and there's something that's completely irrelevant, that's nothing to do with the title or the thumbnail, and then you know who's watched this
to the end, to the bitter end.
So describe Sam's face using one of 3 words: good, average, or poor. Just write that in the bottom.
Cheers, mate. I can see this going one of I see exactly.
Cut it off.
Good.
Cut it off.
Good.